Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Colin Over coming to you with another episode of Company of Heroes. This is a subscriber Saturday, and this game comes to me from one of these four players out on this particular map. Of course, the map itself is Vox Farmlands? Vox Farmlands? Vow Farmlands? I don't know. It's a farmland, though. Let's put it that way. Spawning over here in the east, though, our first allied player playing the UKF. It is the forces of General TNS. Excuse me, I'm going to be doing this entire time. General TNS. He is bringing to the fray Vanguard Operations, Royal Artillery, and Mobile Assault, naturally. His ally down here playing the United States Forces, it is SlashTreecko, bringing Heavy Cav Company, Armor Company, and Tactical Support, obviously playing the Americans. And their opponents over here, both of them setting up on those half tracks. It's both two OKW players, the first of which is in purple, already picking his commander as fortifications. It is Tocino, JMTocino. And his ally up here, it is the forces of Miki, Sayaka0117, bringing to the fray fortifications as well, special operations, or Feuersturm. Now, I'm expecting to see fortifications out of this one, although getting like double or treble LEFH 18 artillery pieces would be amazing to me. But okay, so things are starting off rather meekly so far. We are going to see some engagements happening down here on the southern side as these rear echelons have tried to dive in and definitely push back the Germans from their usual fuel points. Had they stayed in this house, they might have been able to take out this... Okay, like I said, maybe to take out this Kubelwagen, but it's not going to happen anymore. Rifleman, though, in the house will push back the Sturm Pioneers. And Slash says, get that car out of my house. You know what? You leave your toys on the outside there, folks. Germans have controlled the middle part of the field, though. Got both munition points captured. And just fencing off this entire area, kind of like saying, get off my lawn. And if they pick up this middle VP, you're going to see a big jump in their munitions income very, very soon. However, the Allies have at least one fuel in supply already and should be able to pick up a second one without too much more of a bother. Tocino, after all, is going for a super, super quick Schwer Wehrmachtschlepper, as opposed to bringing in anything more than just a starting Sturmpio, the Volksgren, and now this super damaged Kubelwagen. But now we have two squads of riflemen down here, which means that these Volksgrenadiers are quite outgunned. In the north, we will see TNS is facing off against Volksgrenadiers and seeing them off as well. So if you are a German aficionado here, which of course you guys know I am, you're dying a little bit on the inside. It's hurting you right here. Tapping my chest there, folks. And we're going to see Volksgrenadiers sitting in this house, and it's lucky that these guys don't start with grenades immediately. Germans do have a fair bit of munitions, though, and as the game progresses forwards, we might see them use a devastating effect. We are going to see Volksgrenadiers doing a spoiling capture over here to the south, but that's not going to do a whole lot for them. And oddly, Tocino, I think, is going to make a battle group headquarters right down here. Would be super, super aggressive. A very, very unique decision. And Slash playing Red Rover with his retreating Volksgrenadier. If he can pick him off, that would be a massive coup. No, not quite able to, but we will see battle group headquarters is coming out, which means that the riflemen have an opportunity to destroy this thing super, super quickly, but are not going to get much of a chance to do so with this Kubelwagen Sturmpio pairing right here. Back in the middle part of the field, we are going to see the UKF has decided to start churning out troops left, right, and center, and starting to lock down that barbed wire position. Yikes, Slash's troops getting wrecked. Out in the open, these guys are not going to do well. You can see them right here just folding constantly. There's STGs and the machine gun on top of the Kubelwagen doing work. We are going to see a mortar coming down, though. We see very much a kind of, what's the term I'm looking for, meta play coming from the Americans. And though Sayaka's Sturmpios have been able to get nice and deep and do some frustrating decaps, including moving up here to the north, and might even be picking on that, it's not going to go particularly well, I think, for the Germans once troops rotate appropriately. The Universal Carrier has a little bit of a health advantage over the Kubelwagen, and indeed the armament itself, I think, is a tiny bit heavier. Would have been even more so if he actually went for like a heavy Vickers on top of that. But no, it's not going to be his first concern. We could see, okay, well, rifle fire from the rear echelons takes out that Kubelwagen. And now Slash is in a great position just to start bombarding the bejesus out of this southern battle group headquarters. There are already medics on that one, and in the meantime, Sayaka brings in his own battle group headquarters in the center part of the field. If both the German players can manage to upgrade this into a forward retreating point, that could prove very deadly for the Americans. Even more so as we see these rear echelons are getting barbecued by the incendiary grenades. Mortars in the meantime will get forced back as well, but we're going to see a captain coming out for the Americans, and the Brits have teched up to that platoon command post, bringing in some rear echelons, excuse me, not rear echelons, Royal Engineers is what I meant to say. They've lost their poor, wow, they lost their Universal Carrier in the meantime, but managed to take out this wreck. I wonder, was that because of this armor-piercing sniper? Yes, it was. That guy does a crazy amount of damage. When you're firing what amounts to a boy's anti-tank rifle, it's going to do it, though, too. So you can see it right there. Whooping any kind of Germans that kind of have the guts to shift on forwards. Now, one thing that might be a great idea for TNS is to have put a, not a Maxim, but a Vickers might be in this area, locks down this entire entrance yonder. And indeed, we're seeing actually, I would say, a misdeployment of this armor-piercing sniper to take out this position and cap it for himself. And the Germans actually have managed to capture the northern fuel point and will look like they're going to secure the southern one. With this MG34 in the area, it's going to be very difficult for the Americans to push him back without a little bit of hardship. Taking a quick look at the overall score, though, 499 to 429. Germans are down 2-1 in terms of capping, and it doesn't look like that's going to change too quickly. Has this been upgraded to be the forward retreating point? Yes, it has. But he has not selected it, has he? He hasn't had that yet. He hasn't selected it yet. Meanwhile, to the south, yep, there we go. So we have Tocino's troops locking down this position down here to the south. And I kind of like the division of labor that's going on here. What I do not like is the static plays coming out of Tocino's troops. Alright, but let's check up on the northern side. SlashTreecko is getting a pretty hefty force here. We will see this MT-34 continues to be quite an issue for the rear echelons, for these riflemen, as now these STGs are doing tons and tons of work. And this mortar crew is very exposed, I would say, although Tocino thinks that his troops aren't quite warm enough. And they're going to get shaken and bacon right there out in the open air. Captain, in the meantime, facing down a lot of Germans, and while they are a negative cover, they don't want to be there. Although if this Sturmpire group does go down, that could be a win. No, instead they shift their focus to the south after those Volksgrenadiers, and indeed give the opportunity for Sayaka to continue his domination over TNS's troops to the north. In the meantime, it appears that his armor-piercing sniper has gone down. I don't know how many kills he managed to get before doing so. But that he went down at all indicates a little bit of a misplay, perhaps. I'm guessing it might have been that body that just disappeared there. I don't know for sure. But what do we have? What do we have? Well, SlashTreecko has already teched up to his captain, and now he's bringing in a steward, so a very delayed meta push. 57mm as well. I'm a little surprised he brought that in. Not 100% sure why. But he does have the opportunity to slide around and put some pressure, real pressure, lasting pressure, right there. And with all of Tocino's tech going down here to the south, maybe that's exactly what he's doing. His 57mm coming up to the north. You're going to take a position to start bombarding these headquarter buildings. Meanwhile, it does seem that Sayaka is going to start cutting off these British troops. And the British are not going to have enough to hold them back. They don't have any mill bombs. The medic supplies have already been used. And there's nobody here with those pyrotechnic supplies. Down here to the south, okay, we have a meeting engagement. I saw that starting to happen. I had to check it out. Anti-tank crew is going to get picked off, but that's okay. Indeed, Slash is starting to concentrate an awful lot of his troops here. There is a anti-tank rifle grenade here that's not going to be completely useful, though we will see the steward's going to come to the fray. And once he does so, yep, there goes one squad right there. And the only thing he has to worry about is a Sturmpire here over here to the west. I know focusing a lot on the southern side of the map here, it's just a lot more actions going on here. To the north, we just see small meeting engagements once in a while. And indeed, the Stewart is just putting a lot of pressure onto this battle group headquarters. And you'll see this Storm Pioneer group trying to redeploy around to the south, and it doesn't look like it's going to go very well for him. But there he goes, he gets picked off, and there goes the last of really the immediate AT. There will be Fausts, of course, but he shouldn't be too concerned about that. Sayaka, realizing the danger, though, dispatches some of his own troops to the south. And with a Faust or two, he might be able to turn this around, but it's not going to be easy. One of Tocino's major advantages, though, right now, is that his troops move 5 feet to get resupplied. Of course, that might not last very long. Okay, we have Raketin on the field, though. Where is that Raketin? Oh, no, no. It's the capture of 57 mil. Okay, but Sayaka deploying to the south has allowed TNS to get back in this, so that's rather interesting. TNS working with a fairly small army right now. And 11 minutes in, that 70 ticket lead that the Americans and the British had has faded to a... And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they were not able to push. Oh, you can see Royal Engineers go down. Yep, Royal Engineers get lost, and TNS continues to lose squads here. Well, going to say a lot of that has to deal with the fact that the Germans were allowed to get their tech structures up super advanced. And indeed, we are going to see Sayaka's bring another Wehrmachtschlepper. I can never say that, consistently, and that's a big problem. As Sayaka starts to play the blob game, making a big push to the north. Now, how can the Brits get around this? And the easiest way to do that would just be throw down a Vickers in a trench, or just really just put a Vickers anywhere. And unfortunately for him, it's in a super defensive position and should be, honestly, way the heck up here. You will see these Germans are probably going to ice one of these squads. Yep, there goes one. That's a big problem. We want to the south. The Steward is doing all the work he needs to do against this OKW force. Here comes a Faust, though. A little bit of damage being done. Question is, oh dear God, look. Okay, there's a lot of blobbing going on here, guys. We are not the opponents of the X-Men. Magneto is nowhere around, and if you got that joke, I'm impressed, because it's a little bit out there for me. But Slash seems to be poised for a big push you over to the west, and if you can pick up either one of these structures, that's a massive win. Doesn't look immediately, it's going to immediately happen, though. Alright, but TNS floating a ton of fuel, and I mean a ridiculous amount. Really, he should be going for that company command post. He's had the fuel for days. At the very least, tech up or something. He's down to 3 squads yet again, dropping squads like crazy. Meanwhile, Slash is getting involved in a big push. He just threw down. Yep, he just threw down. Was that on me? Yep. And there we go. We're going to see a major push happen out of the Americans. The question is, is there a machine gun in the area? No, he's back down in this house. This could be a potential death. Oh my gosh, okay. If he charges now, this could be a massive win for the Americans. And yep, there goes the next SWS. He's going to get torn to pieces. Lots and lots of anti-tank fire takes out the Stewart, but you know what? If you can manage to take this out, that would be worth it. But not immediately able to do so. That major push ends with a lot of casualties. There's a BAR in the field as well for the Germans. Not good. Not good at all. Probably the only small bit of luck he's got is that all of the Germans, all the major squads already have their STGs. And if I'm the Americans, what do I do to get around this? Well, first thing I do is I get myself a machine gun. And I said the same thing about the Brits, but this thing is sitting so far back here, and it's really not doing the work it needs to get done. Now Sayaka's got himself a very advanced Schwerpanzer headquarters, and that's a terrible thing to deal with, in one sense. And very quickly repairing down here. Good decision. And Tocino is bringing in an alternate headquarters. Now, TNS has decided to finally go for that company command post and is bringing himself a Cromwell onto the map. Now, as long as it doesn't bring in something like, a Centaur, I might be able to be okay with this. Might be. But while the Germans are being very intentional about how they approach these particular situations, helping each other out, moving in very, very supportive. Oh dear God, if these guys make it out alive, I'll be super impressed. They really shouldn't. That's one squad going down. This is when you have to retreat. And Sayaka might be just giving away all his infantry as the Americans blob up like crazy, and that firepower just gets levied all over the place. Cromwell's chasing after him. He's going to get himself some good kills here. Question is, can he get beyond? No, this is the time you charge past the Rakettenwerfer and you circle strafe the thing to pieces. There we go. Doing what needs to get done. Well done. He's going to get back on top of this, and I imagine he's going to take out... Yep, there it goes. Now blow it apart. That's all you got to do. Slash, though, going into another blob play, which I don't agree with, guys. Come on, let's get some more distinct maneuvers going on here. Once again, he's got the right idea about pushing this area down here. And now the Major's on the field, so that's a good thing for him. However, his troops are not going to do particularly well. TNS, in the meantime, decides to call in infiltration commandos. He's now behind enemy lines. He should be able to tear apart. Never mind, there's that Schwerpanzer headquarters. Never mind, he's going to get taken out. There we go. Unfortunately, TNS is just not been on top of the play like he needs to be. Now, this gameplay down here is reminding me very much of kind of like that. I have squads for days, I can just bring in more guys all the time. I am a little bit impressed that SlashTreecko's troops have not been torn to pieces as much as, well, TNS for one. Really just in general, that they've not been torn to pieces. These guys are too close to the fight, and there we go, he's going to get taken out. He's to recruit and then bolt. There we go, he's recruited, he's going to bolt out of there, got a decision. Now, I'm trying to think about what would be great. This actually might be the great time for an M4 Calliope. That, to me, would be a fantastic decision. You come down here, all you do is you start lofting rounds all day, every day, and your entire barrage might just devastate Tocino's troops. And nope, instead he decided to go for that Pershing tank, so that thing is always a good decision if you have the fuel to support it. Now, unfortunately, Slash does not. Slash, Buddy, might have been a good idea to do so. To go for something else other than that heavy cab company, but I understand the attraction. In the meantime, TNS, boo-boo, please tell me, okay, this is being repaired, good. But here comes another incendiary grenade. The Germans have had just crazy amounts of munitions to use, and it's kind of hard to poo-poo that. But at the same time, this was an avoidable collapse. And now we're just seeing consistent pieces here and there. We see mines going up underneath this Vickers team. Okay, so interesting. TNS, yep, there we go. Finally doing something very, very good. Getting himself some area denial. And hopefully he should start pouring fire down in this area. If the Americans realize that all they have to do is combine with the Brits and just push back one of the German players, that could completely change the tenor of this game. Instead we're seeing these big blob pushes, and Fortress Europa over here, these rear echelons have to just destroy everything. There we go. So we have tank destroying mines, wire all over the place. Rear echelons destroying it as well. Now, is the land mattress beginning to fire? If he's not, he needs to be very, very soon. Because again, if he can get any kind of firepower on this blob, for example, or right back here, he would be golden for days. Some mines going off in the meantime, and first barrage begins to land a little bit long, and I think this Rakettenwerfer is going to walk right into it. No, he moves away just in time. Kind of that, never mind, I don't like this neighborhood anymore. Good. That Cromwell's not doing a whole lot now, is he? So see, the only one who's not gone into any kind of commander just yet is Miki Sayaka. So the question is, as Miki, what do we do? Do we do the Feuersturm? Because we have access to everything right now, because that could be interesting. Do we do special operations to bring in the infiltration tactic grenades and the Panzer command tank? Probably a best idea. And a double fortification play would not be ideal. Although the take and hold opportunities that does give you would be rather interesting. Now I'm wondering if Tocino shouldn't just put one of his big cannons right here and just start blowing holes through the American lines. Oh dear God! If there's any kind of pineapple, here comes some fruit, and kaboom! That's going to do some good damage right there. And now this Vickers is in the right place. Finally, there we go. And all of Miki Sayaka's infantry is rousted into flight. And here's a terrifying group here. So we have a rifleman going up against a Strumpio with a Shrek and a BAR. That's kind of terrifying right there. A very, very quick Faust could have secured a good opportunity to kill this Cromwell, but doesn't realize the chance until it is too late. And with the Germans now securing a triple cap, the Americans and the British kind of have to get their heads firmly from their keisters to really beat back into this. Now, Captain throwing down a couple of Zook rounds, not that really effective against infantry, obviously. But it seems like the Americans and the Brits just want to take a moment to, you know, kind of catch their breath, relax a little bit. Have that little bit of mochaccino that they've been missing out on. And again, though, we are seeing this very kind of lackadaisical play from really both sides. SlashTreecko bringing in some Rangers now and immediately upgrading them with their Thompsons. Now, these guys are excellent close-in fighters. The thing is that you have to get close in with them. The pray and spray of those submachine guns is only good from so much distance. Could we see a death squad, though, as Tocino's 5-star Volks retreat? No, they make it out okay. And I almost want to see the Strumpios accidentally get into this building getting just torn to pieces here. Sounds terrible, I know. Germans to the north in the meantime are going to have this kind of Napoleonic maneuver here as the Americans trounce Tocino's troops and now have to take on this other massive scrum of Germans. But luckily he gets saved by this land mattress going off. Land mattress is not perfectly aimed. He could have taken out that garrison super quickly. And I don't know if he decided not to do so or just was it bad luck and didn't get the chance to do so. We're getting to see that beaten ground happen in the middle part of the battlefield, as happens so often on this farmlands map. Now, if I am TNS, I'm grabbing another land mattress, and I am blowing this up right here. Okay, because two different barrages. I have to know, and does he know? He does not know that this right here is real. Wow, that is shocking. I would have thought they would have known that by now. They come under fire from this thing multiple times. But okay, alrighty. Nevertheless, I think I would get 2 land mattresses, even remotely knowing where my opponent is, and I would just start throwing rounds down range. Now, Tocino, in the meantime, he does have all of his tech structures, so I'm wondering if he's just playing for that late... Yeah, he's got to. Oh dear God, these Rangers can only do so much against such vicious hatred. But I was wondering if perhaps what we're going to see are the German players just waiting for a King Tiger. And if they are, then they're not too far off. I mean, dear God, I mean, Tocino's got all his tech structures in already. He's got the crazy, crazy amounts of fuel that he needs. Almost surprised he hasn't called it in. Well, not 100%, but he's gotten very, very close. I kind of feel like he'd be calling in that Königstiger at any moment now. And as while slightly tactless play might be happening here, I do love seeing these massive pushes in the middle part of the field as people start laying into each other. Massive amounts of firepower going every direction. This guy's going to get taken out. And there goes a lot of Tocino's veterancy. Interestingly, I will say one of the guys with the best preservation so far of units, which is shocking to say, at least for the Americans, or the Allies, it was SlashTreecko, Sayaka for the Germans. You can see Sayaka's troops are fairly good, although they basically have been coming in massive waves, so it's very, very difficult to take out any singular squad before they're getting butchered. Alright, and so where is that next barrage? I've got to know the base is right here. But no, instead we're going to see the Americans charging on forwards, trying to feed a firm diet to these Germans, but it's not happening every single time. Oh, some of these rockets are going long. No, it takes out the garrison instead. And there is the first Königstiger. And the Germans have a devastating lead in terms of firepower here. Capture 57mm does get taken out, and that's a positive sense here. But, ooh, those riflemen disappearing in a flash of welter and blood. Luckily, there is a 57mm on the field to do a little bit of damage, to basically scratch the paint on this beast. But even the Cromwell's got to know he doesn't have any way to deal with this kind of massive firepower. However, we are very, very soon going to see that Pershing. Very, very late Pershing, all things considered. 25 minutes in. 25 minutes. And this poor mortar pit has very, very poorly timed and poorly placed under the circumstances. 57mm throwing rounds in vain against this beast. And the second land mattress has now finally been called to the field. And this is that time again where you throw one down and you throw the other one down just back here. You have to know that that's where all the enemy attention is. Mortar's going to get taken out. No, Königstiger backs away instead. Interesting decision. Vickers has been taken out as well, and I believe the Germans are going to, remove that from play as quickly as possible. Pershing is diving on in, and I've always been surprised that it has held up so well to the Königstiger. Almost kind of offended by that, actually. Rear armor hits happening from things like Faust, but the Faust squad is going to find himself taken out, I imagine. While the Cromwell slides in and around to maybe take out this 57mm position, he does. That's a big hit right there, and Pershing has really dived deep. And now the Americans have no reason, the Brits have no reason to not just blow this entire area to Kingdom Come. Königstiger, though, getting wasted. There goes the Cromwell, he's gone, but at the same time Pershing might come in for the coup de grace. Can he do it? Oh my gosh, please don't tell me he's going to get taken out as he retreats here. Smoke barrage. Smoke barrage. Alright, smoke barrage. Interesting. In the meantime, though, Land Mattress pelting out this garrison, takes out one of these crew-served weapons over here. And Sayaka, I think, is just killing time until he wants to call in something else. No. Pershing might make it out. He might make it out. It's really, really weird how he's surviving this particular bad attention, but he is. And the Americans will find themselves encouraged into a quick retreat as almost 30 different weapons open up on them. 25. But some pineapple might be enough. Nah, just a little bit of damage. Never mind.
All right, you guys, make ready.
Mortar team rushing to the fore. What do we got here? Is he going to start throwing rounds down range? He needs to do that. It's really been the thing that's been keeping the Germans in this, is the fact that the Americans and the Brits have not been throwing rounds where they need to go. You have such a long amount of time. It needs to be throwing rounds at them constantly. 274 to 377, 28.5 minutes in. The Americans and the Brits are down by a ridiculous amount. LEFH artillery going down in the south, and once this happens, it's just going to be throwing constant kind of FU barrages into the home bases. There we go, but not waiting until he actually pushes back the enemy infantry. What a shame. Where's that? There's a gun. I think they're starting to look for him, and he's got the right idea, and all these guys are retreating right back through it, but not the perfect rockets, not the money shots he was hoping for. Nevertheless, okay, Miki Sayaka going for the Special Operations Doctrine and immediately calling the artillery flares, looking to see what he can see, and he's like, oh my gosh, there's a land mattress just right there. And this Firefly is taking rounds from something. Not 100% sure what. How is that? Pershing is still very beat up, and for some reason no one's going up to repair him. The Americans are trying to take back the central position, and slowly might be able to do so as the Germans take some really, really bad cover, or lack thereof. And, oh god. Grenades going up like crazy, but Rangers getting outshot, Riflemen getting pelted like crazy. What do we have? Mortar rounds coming on in, and the And that Firefly doing a little bit of work, not tons necessarily. Recaptured Vickers, though, manages to suppress, but not before taking some very, very warm reception. But okay, what's the game state we got going on? Yep, Pershing gets taken out. Excuse me, Vickers gets taken out. Mortar rounds doing some good work. And for some reason, this LEFH is throwing rounds at the trench instead of being close enough to throw rounds at the home point for the Americans, which is, again, another thing you have to know. Redeploying. These guys are still in range. Are we going to see another barrage in this area? I would like to think so. But now Sayaka's got all of his tech structures on the field, which means there's another King Tiger that's imminent. And I do believe that these riflemen are going to find out that they're heavily outgunned in the center part of this field. Okay, at least the Pershing has finally been repaired. Storm Pioneers with a flamethrower and Shrek decide that probably not the best idea to go up against a heavy battle tank with that kind of light weaponry. Königstiga not doing its usual brilliant self, but I imagine next round will do some deadly, deadly damage. Bekettenwerfer hanging out in the middle part of the field. I don't know if neither player has the inclination to pick it up or what the deal is. And we're seeing more rounds being thrown right at an area where this tank's not going to get hurt very much. Okay, finally getting some rounds on top of the ISG. Okay, interesting. And the Pershing just kind of sits back and lost rounds from the cheap sheets. Now I'm wondering, will this Firefly get close enough to throw out the tulip rockets? It'd be kind of nice if he does. He's got more than enough to do so. I mean, no, it doesn't look like it. And indeed, we have a forward assembly area going up, and I don't know why. It's going to get taken out in just a second or two, and that's not what you want to have happen. One more round will do it. 3, 2, 1, and skadoosh. No, indeed, actually, the Germans take away one of these positions from the Brits. And if you can re-seize it, that would be a... There we go. Okay, so it's gotten recaptured, sort of. There we go. There we go. That's what you want to see. So tulip rockets have gone in onto the Königstiga, so that they had seen a bit of a crew wounding there. The Royal Engineers need to back away immediately. Main gun destroyed, though, on the Sherman Firefly. Will he get back before he gets taken out? I don't know. I don't know, my friends. Unlucky hit there. Slash, in the meantime, being very active about using his smokescreen to protect his ally. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to happen every single time for him. And artillery fire and, I would say, rifle fire will take out this crew. And once again, TNS falls below 40 army supply. Kind of wondering why we're seeing a lot of just very, very static play from the Americans when they really desperately need to be back in this. Don't know if he's trying to take out his old land mattress. One more round might have done it if it come out just a little bit sooner. There we go. He's going to capture it back. There we go. And riflemen pouring fire into these retreating Germans. Doing a little bit of work here and there, but they're still very outnumbered, which is just something that historically just never seemed to happen. And at long last, we see another tank coming out for the Americans. One of those kind of plucky M4 Shermans. But against a Königstiga and any kind of real anti-tank, I don't know why it's being sent up by his lonesome. Now, Reichman doing some work, but again, not a whole lot you can do against, 55 or 60 tons of heavy armor. Pershing's in the area, though. He's been almost fully repaired. And he's creeping on forward, which means that there's a prime opportunity for the American and British tanks to do some work here. ISG battery doing some interdictory fire. And destroyed engine, damaged engine. I believe they're going to see this last we're going to see of this Sherman. Brewed up? Yes, he's brewed up. And isn't that a shame? That brave, brave, noble creature. Now, the nice thing about the Americans' anti-tank... Oh, no, okay. I thought that was the capture 57mm there for a second, but I guess not. No. Instead, folks, we're going to see a Comet and a Sherman start throwing rounds into this Königstiger, and this could be the death of that thing. Although we are going to see a Pack 88 in a great position to throw rounds at the... Oh, my gosh. At the Sherman... Oh, the Pershing, rather, takes that out. But the Königstiger is dead. That's a big victory unto itself. Now, the question is, can this land mattress throw rounds accurately at that? And judging by the way that's gone so far, the answer to that is going to be a very, very lofty no. Mortar crew getting taken apart. Question is, can SlashTreecko get himself back up to another Pershing? He can, but it's going to take him at least another minute. And as the Germans push on forwards to take more of these positions, I'm not sure how much longer he's really got. However, very, very interestingly timed barrage land mattress-wise, we'll see the Americans advancing under a big, big wave of explosions. Damaged engine on top of this Panther. Could we see a dead Panther already? This guy has just come into the fray. Panther command tank. One more volley of Zooks might be enough to do it. It won't be easy, mind you. But, oh, okay, there we go. That'll do it. Tulip rockets will be enough to take him out. Americans could go and recapture this AT gun and start throwing rounds to the west. Would not be the best option, especially with the ISGs doing their work. And artillery flares, where is that? Okay, coming in this area. Another Königstiger coming right back up from Tocino. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. This is certainly a crazy fight back and forth. The Americans made a big mistake by allowing the Germans to get themselves stuck in. And if you're just joining us, folks, I would say there is not a whole lot of an end in sight. Germans have big armies. Americans and Brits far less so. And free fuel just keeps going over to the Germans. Now, question. He's got another barrage able to come in. He does not for a little bit more time. Will they admit to knowing that they have an enemy position over here? Apparently they don't want to admit that. I mean, they're not perfect, mind you, but these things are good. And really, he's not been getting the kind of, I would say, utility out of his land mattresses that he should. And if you don't have that kind of utility, it's time to go buy yourself a new mattress. Miki Sayaka, in the meantime, being the poster child for good unit preservation. Americans only slightly less so, but they've taken their own losses in this particular set of engagements so far. Mortar team gonna get caught out here. He needs to back up right now. But here comes the Königstiger as well. So will we see a concerted anti-tank effort? Odds are it's going to be a no. Indeed, what we see over here is you see both land mattresses facing the wrong direction. And throwing around just a teensy bit too short to actually do a whole lot of work. He's been able to take out one Rakettenwerfer, and that's a bit of a victory unto itself. Tulip rockets, though, Skadoosh and Skadoosh doing some work right there. Both not showing me that, that's weird. Wounding the gun layer and the driver, shocking them a little bit, and blinding them. So that's a good victory for him. And if he takes out another one of these tanks, I mean, dear help me God, how many King Tigers can we see? We're seeing some land mattress fire come down over here, at least a vague area where it should be. It needs to be a little bit closer, I would say, instead. And this Firefly is just brewed up and taken out.
The enemy destroyed a vehicle.
Damned indecent of them. But shockingly, despite the fact that Tocino has such a crazy high army score, most that's in this vehicle, this gun emplacement, and this artillery piece way the heck down here, which has not been getting the kind of utility it really needs to. SlashTreecko, in the meantime, back up to 64 Army Supply himself, calling in that Pershing. The question is, can he get a real good attack together? And I'm not so sure. I will say these guys are super expensive. In munitions cache, we'll see the American position destroyed. Now I'm kind of wondering, where are these guys down here? What are they doing down here? Are they doing anything worthwhile or no? And the answer to that is not really. You're going to find them under fire from this MG34 pretty quickly. We're going to see instead they're going to get suppressed like crazy, and this MG is probably not going to get picked off anywhere near as fast as he needs it to. Coming in as well as another Panther command tank, and this Königstiger is going to be dueling with this Comet, and this Comet is going to be very, very unlucky. And for some reason we see Royal Engineers charging forwards, not sure why. Curious decision indeed. Okay, so he's getting a little bit better. Okay, he might be able to take this out. There we go, decrewed at least. That's a big victory right there. But they're going to get picked up in just a second. Yep, there they go. That's one squad down. But now we have a Firefly, a second Firefly, and a Comet, and this might be enough to take out this beast. The second Königstiger down. He's got to make sure he doesn't get flanked unluckily. Rear armor hit. Could we see one more Zook shot? There we go. That might be enough to take it out. Okay, the Comet goes. The Comet and the Königstiger perish together. Definitely a big loss right there for the Germans, but not an inconsiderable one either for the British. For the longest time, it had been the Germans gaining ground, but it seems that at really long last again, the Allies are back in a minor bit of the driver's seat. I won't say completely, but a little bit of the driver's seat. Pershing, for some reason, fleeing from these rather intrepid Volksgrenadiers. And with that, Tocino falls to almost the smallest army supply in the entire map, which is impressive since TNS has not had anything close to a super effective positioning through most of this fight. Miki continues to pick on and destroy the British positions at will. And a now reinforced Pack 43 might continue that control for the Germans in the middle part of this battle space. Okay, now if I'm the rifleman, I turn around and throw off anti-tank rifle grenades, and then I sprint in there with my Zooks, but I don't think that's going to happen. Indeed, TNS is going to come up instead with some infiltration commandos taking this fuel point. To what end, I'm not 100% sure, though I feel like what he should be doing is figuring out a way to start taking on the German tech structures. And not sure what that big boom was. Panther command tank, though, rushing down to the south, and for the second time, he's getting picked on again by this Firefly. One more shot should do it. One more... No, he makes it away somehow. Yikes, okay. But 167 to 334, the Allies are just about barely half of the Axis. But the Pershing's down here now against his Panther and should be able to do pretty well, unless, of course, it gets Fausted to death. And these Volksgrenadiers keep charging on in. That might be exactly what happens to him. And that dive is going to be nasty, nasty business. Rear armor hit. A second Pershing is on the ropes. And again, though, these Rangers are right next to these dudes. He should be able to take them out like crazy. There we go. That's the death right there. But we need to make sure these guys don't get taken out and turned. Yeah, but Volksgrenadiers go down, but then a very, very unlucky hit sends the Pershing sky high. But Tocino is now the smallest army on the field, and that is no laughing matter. Zook's coming in behind to support against this Panther. And this isn't a Panther command tank, mind you. This is a legit Panther. His rifleman cannot afford a anti-tank rifle grenade, which would have been enough to really seal the deal here. And indeed, we're going to see what just fell down here. Another land mattress crew? 81mm mortar. Okay. The land mattress crew will die though, and there he goes. And that giant cannon is to blame. Tocino's artillery piece finally doing some work for himself. 10 kills. It really should be encouraging the Germans as they kind of rush to the fore. Now, I really wish TNS's land mattress has been a little bit more effective here. TNS, you got to be a little bit less kind of like garrison focused for your troops. Indeed, again, we're going to have these big blob pushes that could be combated pretty easily by a well-sighted machine gun or two. It's just, it's not happening. It's making me very, very put out. TNS should also be calling in, I would say, another tank. And Germans have completely and totally just salvaged and destroyed that particular little land mattress. Mill bomb coming up from the infantry section. More grenades coming in, but just it's a lot of explosions. It's not a lot of death. This is the third Pershing, by the way. If, you know, Blackjack Pershing knew how his namesake tank was being utilized right now, I think he would weep. I think he would. In the meantime, Captain and Ranger coming out to the south. And I've been making fun of the unit preservation sometimes, but it's been pretty good for about 50% of these troops, of these players rather. Unfortunately, we can't say the same thing consistently about the other 50%. We will see in the meantime, though, infiltration commandos diving on up here and probably being able to take this position before anyone else realizes it. And now the Pershing is charging on in. Pershing, my friend, boo-boo, again. Hammer the tech structures. You have it. You're right there. You're so close. I want to taste it for you, but I can't. Is that how this works? And now both of those land mattresses have been removed. That's unfortunate. And 47 minutes in, I will say I'm a little bit disappointed Sayaka's troops have just been basically mob rushing the entire battle space. This Vickers might be enough, though, to suppress that vile tactic. Although these Royal Engineers will die in the meantime. But we see another pickup. Yep, so we have 2 flamethrowers and a mine detecting equipment on the Royal Engineer squad right there. Certainly an interesting set of squad weaponry. Riflemen to the south coming under fire from both the Shredder Panzer headquarters, and now these very, very fiery Storm Pioneers. There's been so much just floating of resources, and those guys are not going to make it out alive. Okay, so flamethrower is open now for the Americans, and now a Ranger squad with Thompsons and the flamethrower. That's gonna be pretty good right there. That'll be pretty good. I have been surprised that Miki Sayaka has not decided to go for that Königstiger. I feel like 2 Königstigas with the support of this massive infantry push would be more than enough to see the Americans and the British pushed from the field. But instead we're getting kind of like these drips and drab attacks that are not going to do a whole lot in the long term. You can see like this squad right here is going to get torn to pieces.
We've lost a squad of infantry.
And while the Germans were doing so well, you see Miki Sayaka's troops, all he had to do was just pull back that one-man squad. But no, instead he pulls back all 4 of his mainline troops, leaving his Storm Pioneers actually to rush back by himself and leaving his support weapons terribly exposed.
Mattress crew trained and ready to go.
And TNS calls in their 3rd land mattress, or 4th one, I think, at this point. And the question is, will we see... Okay, well, we're going to see another... I think it's a Sherman coming on in here. It'd be kind of nice to see even, though. Something like the M8A1. But no. No, instead we're just going to see... some medium tanks coming on in to support Slash's kind of ailing pushes. It's actually kind of a shame that these Rangers have not been able to sneak on in had he been able to do so with that flamethrower, this position would have been destroyed rather quickly. And instead we're treated to this kind of stall as the entire American army is just kind of hanging out, waiting for this machine gun to get cleared away. And now that it has been cleared away, this is missing the opportunity. This should be the time you push like crazy. And instead we're seeing just kind of a very laissez-faire attitude. The question is, can this guy suppress and pin? No, he's just going to retreat instead, leaving the Sherman Firefly, who does next to no damage, to infantry to back away. Now the Pershing is going to set up against this Panther command tank, and although he's getting shreked like crazy, he should be able... Yep, out of control. That's one victory right there. Captain should be able to push back. Sturmpires as well. No, instead he decides to back away. Although we will see a Sherman rush on forwards, and it would be kind of nuts to see him throw in high X. That would mean very, very quick death for the Sturm Pioneers. And there we go. He's loading in the high explosives. Doesn't need to do it at that moment, though. It seems that he's taken out one of the last infantry squads on the map. And these infiltration commandos, yep, should be able to Shrek the Sturm Pioneers. Doing decently okay. Those guys are glass cannon, so you can see it happen. They're getting murdered. They're going to get taken out, probably even, in fact. Geez, could have started that off with a mill bomb, or Gannon bomb, rather, and that would have been more than enough. Sherman's doing exactly what he needs to do now. He sits up here, he just throws armor-piercing rounds into here, starts really pushing back the German army, and instead he just starts taking Faust fire. But now he's in the Pershing in, and I think just continue to rotate positions, keep sending in troops after troops to break this technological area. If you can do that, the Germans are completely screwed. He's got a fair bit of fuel left, not so much for Tocino though, so yes, if you break one German player, you will have victory. Pershing is shifting on in. The question is, will this MG-34 get back into position to push back the intended infantry? I don't know, but for the moment he seems to be okay. Panther coming down to the south, even as the enemy, as Sayaka's Panther, moseys around the middle part of the field. Ambo went down? Where'd the ammo go down? The ambo just took a very, very unlucky hit. Meanwhile, though, Panther comes on in, throws rounds at this Sherman, and is doing some good damage to it. And now being flanked out by another Panther might be a good time for the Pershing to back away and throw rounds into these Panthers. There we go. There we go. We're having a real, actual tank battle happening here. Pershing's still probably going to go down just because there's been an appalling lack of armor control on this particular map. And these captains getting damaged pretty hardcore. The Sherman's good for nothing but just a target practice. Isn't that just a shame? Alrighty though. Is Comet coming down? No, Firefly is sliding down to the south, and TNS is again letting down his opponent, his ally, by not bringing in more tanks. This is what you have to be doing. You have so much fuel, you got to be using it, my friend. Meantime, though, you know, I would say again, throw this bad boy. It'd be fun, I promise. Rangers coming in and around, trying to throw rounds at this MG-34. Will be able to get in close, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get there before he gets pinned. Never mind, they're pinned now. And this rifleman will be able to fit the bill, though, in the meantime. Taking out that squad, that's a big victory right there. Rangers, going to do some damage, might need to push back these troops, not going to happen. Instead, it's going to be infiltration commandos to the north, Germans to the south. And where am I, folks? Well, I'm stuck in the middle of it all. Now, what have those light matches been firing at? Again, I don't know why he's just firing at the beaten area. He knows where they are. He keeps seeing these pushes happen right here. And just like Sayaka knows that he's going to have his troops getting pinned and suppressed right in the middle part of this field here. I'm surprised that hasn't happened already. Ah, that's why. Actually, I have to kind of give it to him. He knows his opponent's going to fixate up here and instead just kind of rushes down to the south. Interesting indeed. 55 minutes in though, where are we? 108 to 271. Does this mean that the Allies are going to go down? I don't understand. And this LEFH has just been throwing rounds downrange consistently, doing some damage here and there. If it takes this company command post, well, it's already looking rather shredded here. And yep, I guess that was the ammo that went down, unluckily. But now there's a Jackson down here to the south, and to contest against this Panther should be more than enough. That and the Pershing really should be more than enough. But I imagine what we'll see is we'll see a dead Jackson pretty quickly. One Shrek comes on in. No, instead just grenades happening. Wait, really? Strange decision. Alright, Panther's going to be trying to get some very, very quick kind of blitzkrieg movements away, blitzkrieg tactics. But the Pershing should be able to take it out. One more hit. Jesus, Jackson's getting murdered. There it goes, out of control. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. You know, you want to see it happen. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually rooting for the Allies in this one. You know how often I do that, guys. Even more strange, you see a Kubelwagen has come in for Sayaka, a 55, 56 minute Kubelwagen. And there goes the Panther, at long last. Are we going to see a dead? Yes, we are. That's one right there. Now, if the Americans can dive on and pick up that Shrek, that could be a small victory unto itself. But taking on and taking out a couple of support weapons is almost a decent enough trade. TNS actually took out and recaptured a Panther. Oh, okay. This might be where the Camel's back is broken, even though they're floating such incredible amounts of resources here. Sayaka in particular, you can call in the Panther Command Tank, you can go for that overdue Königstiger. There's a lot of floating resources now on the German side, although Sayaka's got a very impressive veterancy of his infantry squads. Question is, can the Americans and Brits finally turn this around? There's been a lot of mishandling on this one, so guys, of course, as always, this is a Subscriber Saturday replay, so, you know, keep it clean, keep it, you know, constructive here. Now, please tell me he's targeting the right area. No, he is not. No, he is not at all. And instead, we have our Kettenwerfer over here, just kind of blithely out of any kind of position. I saw a shoe mine notice. The question is where? Did not see the shoe mine go down. That's a bit of a problem for me. Imagine we'll figure it out soon enough. Incendiary grenade going out way, way too long, and a BAR up close against these Germans who don't realize it. Yep, they're gonna get hurt pretty bad. Alrighty though, so TNS is going to use vehicle crew repairs. Surprised he hasn't used it a little bit before now, considering his troops have been in such dire need of TLC. But hey, having a Panther now on top of him, as well as a Pershing down below for his ally, and a Comet, and this Firefly, full vet Firefly at that, and these things, it's actually kind of a wonder that the Allies haven't won it by now.
Typical enemy trick, isn't it?
I'm not sure I would call it a trick, my good sir. And this machine gun needs to die almost immediately. It'd be kind of perfect if they're able to get that to happen. Almost worth it if you can take out this squad before he gets any kind of Faust off. Okay, no, it just kind of scratches the paint. That's good right there, luckily for him. But Tocino's calling himself another Panther. So, again, while the Allies are frittering away their armor, the Germans aren't doing much better in terms of preservation. Königstiger is in the area, thus the question is whether or not the Allies are aware of it, and if they are, will he just rush everything to the front to take care of it? I would hope he does. Königstiger, though, will find out this Comet, and this would be the time to rush absolutely everything at it. This is a big, big investment, and if you can take this out, not sure why he's firing at the infantry. Okay, perfect timing out. Yeah, this is perfect. This is going to give everybody the chance to take on the Königstiger. This Comet's going to go down, though. I can pretty much guarantee that one. No, he's going back. Really? Okay. Okay, so this Königstiger's backing away, which is signing his own death warrant. Not even taking anybody with him. And that's a bad death right there. Question is, will it be the traitor tank who does him in? Yep, it's the Panther. The captured Panther that destroys him. That's a very, very hard hit to the morale of the German troops. It must be. And an hour in now, we have 49 to 265. Sayaka just continues to be like, hey guys, I got this. We're locked down. We're good to go. We have tons of veterancy, but we're not taking any more points. And we have Tocino, who's got a very, very small army, but one that's very late game or very tier intensive. And that's the time I sweep all three of these vehicles. If I'm these players, I'm sweeping all these vehicles right in here. Jam them down the German throat. Again, you know that this is here. You know that this is here. Take both of them out. It'll be more than enough to really get things done. We're going to see barrages, though. I think we are. Both barrages. Okay, there we go. So you're finally targeting this area? It'd be kind of nice. Instead, no, he's just frittering it away on this anti-tank gun. Okay, at least he decrewed it. That's a good start. But it's still up, which means that there has to be... Okay, there we go. There we go. That could be the necessary death that allows all the Allied armor to troop on in. And this, again, it has to happen. Now, Germans are deployed to the south, and they're definitely pushing back fairly quickly. The term is with alacrity. But the Allies have more than enough to push them back if they're just intelligent enough to do so. Schumann being placed over here to the western side, completely and totally out of position, I would say. His Obers are going to throw in a big grenade down, but it's not going to do anything, although it will chase off the bit of Allied command and control in the area. Now, another Königstiger has been called in, so this is the last major throw, I would say, for the Germans. They're calling in... No, I thought he was calling in a tank. I thought they were both calling into something like that, but no, apparently he cancelled that. And we will see as well these Obersoldaten are running on in with a flamethrower. If they can get taken out, that'll be pretty darn good. Let's take a slightly longer look at the battle space here. Royal Engineers are going to go down, and that's I would say not even a minor loss at this point. It's just sort of like, okay, well, that happens. And here we go. Here's the time you have to turn and throw these rockets down here. Right now. There we go. 1, 2. Two big rounds slam into this Königstiger, and that's the death of the Königstiger. And with that, the Germans don't have a whole lot of immediate opportunity here. We could see more Panthers get called in, but at this point, it's like, okay, well, you call Panthers in, big deal. And more rocket fire, finally taking some of these guys out. And this is where you fire the other barrage. Please tell me you're firing the barrage very, very soon. 0 seconds. Is it happening? He's moving up. Ladies and gentlemen, he is moving forwards. Question is, will he see it before they get close? Jagdpanzer are being called in for Miki Sayaki. And TNS is just kind of chilling in the middle part of this battle space. And to the south, the Americans are taking back the last VP. So after a really, 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 really long time, the Allies are threatening a trip cap. Never mind, it's going to be a 2-0 or a, something like that. But not a triple cap just yet. We're getting for doing a little bit of damage here, and finally some Pineapple catching out the Germans, doing some really great damage. But the price is being paid by Slash. I think has not lost a ton of his squads recently, but it has happened fairly often throughout this game. A rifleman trooping on in. If he can break this gun line, break the gun line, my friend. We're Kattenwerfer continuing to throw rounds bravely at this Pershing, and after a long time, zeroing artillery. He took one out? Oh, okay, so the thing just randomly happened to hit him. Jagdpanzer, oh. Very, very poor time to finally see it, but you can kind of sense that this is the Germans starting to feel desperate. I'm not 100% sure why. Yikes, that poor rifleman squad. Oh, I thought he actually took out the BAR, but nope, guess not. Still there. Hidden under all the tons and tons of soil. And I'm not sure why he's charging into this own area here. Indeed, yep, these Germans are taking a lot of friendly fire from this. Of course, the riflemen do occasionally vanish in a haze of smoke and flame. Now, this is a giant waste, though, is that these Rangers and this Comet tank, at the very least, should be pushing to take on these positions, or more, far, far more, pushing down to take this area. Unfortunately, it's not quite happening either, though. But Pershing, we have another Jackson on the field, and we have rear echelons, don't we? Rear echelon should be repairing, I would say, that last little position. Tocino, what does Tocino got? He's building himself another Jagdpanzer to match his ally. And now is a BAR being obtained, and that's going to be either completely and totally taken immediately. No. No. Grenades. No grenade? Huh. That's surprising. The Vickers is going to get taken out. Yep, happening again and again. And General's troops have another opportunity here to either throw those really, really frustrating barrages down. Never mind, never mind. It's hell down there, folks. It is hell indeed. 42 to 187, the Jagdpanzer trooping on forward. It's not the best idea for him, though. His entire thing is by being not seen. Call it seen but not heard, or heard but not seen. Very, very much a mistake. And there goes the Jagdpanzer right there. The other Jagdpanzer coming on and throwing a couple of rounds after that Jackson, but the Jackson distributors are able to laugh it off. And where is the Pershing? Pershing is super far back. I guess that's probably a good decision at this point, considering how often he's lost Pershings. Combat continues to be up here to the north and not doing the kind of damage needs to get done. One hour and 7.5 minutes into this game, and we're still going strong, folks. 42 to 168. We are going to see Sayaka's infantry corps moving across the center part of this field, but I can imagine we'll see it retreat fairly soon. If hopefully for nothing else that we see some rocket fire happening here, but no, not immediately anyway. Strange, strange, strange. Pineapple? Fruit? No fruit? Okay, no fruit for him. Now, these guys are finally moving on forward. So I think they're trying to get a nice tight grouping of their rounds. And this guy's has to back away as well, I would say. Instead, okay, we're finally seeing some rounds fall in here. So watch Sayaka's troops slowly starting to get shreked, I would say. Are they backing up? No, they're not backing up yet. But they're going back through the storm and the fire and the flame, and that is going to just shatter his infantry corps. There is not much left. Sayaka's got 14 army supply to his name, 2 extremely wounded infantry squads, and 1 moderately strong Strom Pioneer squad. Tocino in pretty good position in terms of army supply, but finally at long last, TNS is among the top 50% as opposed to the bottom, 25% in terms of army size here. I believe. Yep, the artillery rounds have just been almost unerring in taking these guys out. Obersoldaten trying to beat up on these riflemen, but vanilla riflemen with BARs against Obersoldaten, now with support from machine guns and things like that, yes, these Obersoldaten are not going to win. And really, that's all the Americans are trying to do. Just clog out the middle and just stay here long enough so that way, even if you don't win, you're playing not to lose. That's almost as good. More pineapple. And shredding that squad. We're going to see at least one of these squads go down and retreat, I would like to think. No. No, instead we see 2 Vickers machine guns, though. More than willing just to sit back and throw blankets of fire. And Sayaka says, guys, it's time to tap out. He realizes he can't break this position easily. And I imagine we'll start to see a P4. I see that would have been a good decision. That would have been a good decision. I don't know why they didn't call it in much earlier. Just like I don't know why the Allies have been so tentative with their armored core. I mean, look at this. They have 3 strong tanks right in this area.
Heavy armor ready to go.
You can have 2 comets as well. But Tocino, how many kills does this thing have? 35. And I don't know if he's got the accuracy. He knows that there's a trench there at least. Okay. Vickers are going to stop this particular little push any moment. No, not quite. There we go. And infantry section trooping on, and it's just going to do exactly the last little bit of a coup de grace to keep these guys fixed in position. Allow that machine gun just to go and do its deadly work. Americans managed their trip cap, infiltration grenades going off. Miki Sayaka's AI replaced troops, almost fighting better than Miki Sayaka over the last several minutes here. And these comets are finally realizing that they can rush on forward to the attack. Although they're not doing so, and continue to see this Jackson entertained from at range until this Jagdpanzer gets taken out. I wonder, will we see the Germans immediately running on in? No, Tocino realizes finally with his opponent, excuse me, his ally, bulking it might be time for him to throw in the towel as well, leaving the Allies the very unlikely winners of this one. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 18 seconds in, by a final score of 42-103, we will see TNS and SlashTreecko pull this one out. I would like to give a big thank you to SlashTreecko for sending this match into me. Just a couple of quick tips for you guys out there. Mob play is very easy to get countered by a much more savvy opponent. It might have been lucky that the Germans didn't run with a lot of machine guns. Another thing as well, especially on Vo farmlands, especially when facing the OKW as well, got to make sure that these guys cannot get themselves set up so close to the 50-yard line. Yes, it is a great opportunity for you to take out their base structures, and if you can do that, hit them from range. Finally, Treecko, just a bit for you. I would say the Pershing is strong, but you might have been better supported by putting Calliopes in and just bombarding the bejesus out of them every 45-50 seconds or so. Nevertheless, congratulations on the win there, Allied players. And guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Subscriber Saturday. This is Con Ulrich signing off. You all have a great day, and I'll see you